continuous integration is one of the most important aspects of the creation of the automation. This is why with continuous integration we can define when a build will be performed and when the pipeline will run automatically. So we can define our build triggers on our GitHub repositories in order to define when we want a pipeline to run automatically. For example, we may need to run a pipeline when a commit is performed on a branch or a pull request is performed. We can specify the settings with a build triggers keyword. So we have multiple choices in order to build our pipelines, and in this pipeline we enlist some of them. So I have a simple pipeline that will run and only have as an output pipeline run using a script. So this pipeline will run based on the triggers that we define. So we must notice that the triggers that we defined are an OR. As we can say, they are running when one of these settings is selected. So if we specify only one trigger, for example the branches, this will run only if a commit is performed using the branches filter. But if we specify also alternative settings, not this, the tags settings for example, then the pipeline will run if this condition is correct, or this condition is correct, or the last condition is correct. So let's now examine what each option does. So the branches will run our pipeline when a commit is performed on a particular branch. So when we commit on main branch or we commit on a release branch that has a syntax like that, for example releases /1 or /2, then this pipeline will run as we define that syntax with the asterisk. So this is performed with the include keyword, but we can also exclude some branches that we don't want to be built. For example, I don't want to build the UAT branch, so I exclude it using this filter. So this setting will be running when a commit is performed on a particular branch. Along with a branch, we can define the path. So for example, when we need only particular files to be changed and then the pipeline run, we must use the path filter. The path filter should be included every time with the branch, and we specify some locations that if those locations change, then only then we want the build to begin. So this setting will specify a build when a commit is made in the main branch or a releases branch, and only when this folder or catalog is changed inside the repository, and we exclude this particular file. So when a file is changed on the docs repository on those branches, only then this pipeline will run. If we only had this setting as a trigger, but now we also have these settings, so these settings apply also. The tags trigger is performed using tags. For example, we may need to run a pipeline when we push a particular tag, and we may need to exclude also some runs when a particular tag is included. So for example, let's say we had as a tag the production tag, so we wanted to build a production pipeline. So when we add as a tag the production to include, then when we push the production tag, then this pipeline will run. And if we exclude UAT environment, then when we commit with UAT inside the repository that this pipeline is hosted, when we include the UAT tag on our push, then this pipeline will run. We can also specify PR triggers. The PR triggers are performed when a pull request is begin from a pipeline to a destination pipeline. For example, when a pull request is created and the destination pipeline is current, as we use it in the include keyword, when we create a pull request for the current branch, then this pipeline will run. And also we exclude UAT. For example, when we create a pull request for the UAT branch, then this pipeline will not run as we have excluded this pipeline. We can also exclude a commit to trigger a build pipeline. For example, I make a commit and I don't want this pipeline to run. We can specify that by using this in the description message of the commit. So if we use all of these variations when we commit in the message commit of the repository, then the pipeline will not run and will not build, although we have specified our build triggers. So using the build triggers, we can specify multiple and complex continuous integration triggers for our pipelines for various reasons. For example, we may need to build production releases using versions, and we may don't need to build UAT releases again using versions, etc., etc. Based on the way that developers and DevOps teams create their release, they can specify multiple triggers for their repositories.